Hello everybody! こんにちは。今日は日本語のレッスンです。文法について教えています。教えます。Today I'm going to teach you about the potential form of Japanese verbs, and the potential form is basically, instead of just saying to do something, you can say I can do something, or instead of just I swim, you'll say I can swim. So potential form is you have the potential now to do something, or the potential to do that verb, or the ability to do it. So it's a good thing to know in Japanese, and it's a basic skill. Okay, so I'm going to do this in two parts because I never finish my videos in time. I'm also going to use my whiteboard to help illustrate some things. So let's get started. Let's see, where do I start? Okay, there's two ways to use the potential form. The first way is easy, and basically you take the plain form of the verb that you'd see in the dictionary. Say if you have an English-Japanese dictionary and you're looking up verbs, you take the plain form of it. So for example, suru, to do, oyogu, swim, kaku is right, yomu, read, neru, sleep. So it's not like polite form or anything, it's just plain form, informal. So you take that and then you add koto ga dekiru after it, or koto ga dekimasu, because dekimasu is the polite form of dekiru. So, and then that's how you say you can do blah blah blah. So for example, 食べることができます means I can eat. But let's say you want to tell someone that you can eat sushi. You would say 寿司を食べることができます. So 寿司を食べる is to eat sushi, but then if you add ことができる after it, then it's I can eat sushi. 寿司を食べることができます. So just remember that phrase, ことができる or ことができます. You could also change it to negative so that you want to say you can't do something. So you can, all you have to do is you change dekiru into negative form. So dekinai. So for example, sushi o taberu koto ga dekinai. So that's I can't eat sushi. Or say if you're lactose intolerant, you can say 牛乳を飲むことができない. 牛乳 is milk, 飲む is to drink. So, and you're using the O particle with that. So that part's easy. Okay, then here's the second way to do the potential form. It involves more memorization, but it's not that hard. So, just relax. So first you have to know that there's three types of Japanese verbs, and I'll go through a little review for you. I'll basically explain everything again. So the first type of Japanese verbs are the u verbs, and they all end in u. Not the hiragana, just the sound u. So for example, hanasu, to speak, kaku, to write, sagasu, to look for, matsu, to wait, asobu, to hang out, blah 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 blah. But they're called u verbs because they don't end in iru or eru. So, so iru is eru, and iru is iru, and eru is eru. iru and eru. So, so like hanasu is hanasu. It ends in su. It doesn't end in iru or eru. Asobu, asobu. It doesn't end in iru or eru. If you spell it out in Romanji, noru, to ride, that's n-o-r-u, so it's a u verb, and it's not a ru verb. Doesn't end in iru or eru. Okay, so the second type of verb are ru verbs, and they end in iru or eru. So example would be taberu, which is to eat. Taberu, if you spell it out, it ends in eru, eru, taberu. And okiru, to wake up. Okiru, it ends in iru. So those are ru verbs. Dekakeru, to go out. Dekakeru, eru, kakeru. Keru. So that's ru verb. Ru verb. The last type of verbs are the irregular verbs, and there's only two, and it's suru, which is to do something, and kuru, which is to come over, whatever, come to school, blah blah blah. So irregular verbs have their own special rules, so that's why they're irregular. Okay, so I'm gonna start explaining the u verbs, which don't end in iru or eru, and how to change them into potential form. So I'm gonna show you my chart now. Okay. It's a little lopsided. But I think you can still see it. Okay. So, okay. So with u verbs, you take the last hiragana in the word, and you change it to the e column hiragana. So for example, au is to meet, like to meet up with your friend. So if you look at the chart, this is one column right here, and au ends in the u hiragana, so you want to change it to the one with the e sound, which is the e. So it's gonna be a e, and then you're gonna add ru after it. So au in potential form is here's au, to meet, and then potential form it becomes ru. So basically we erase the u and we replace with e, and then we added ru. So aeru is you can meet. Okay. And then you do the same thing with all the other ones. So kaku is to write. So to change it, you want to say I can write, like I can write hiragana or something, then you change the last hiragana ku into the hiragana that's in the same column with the e in it, which is ke. So it would be kakeru, and you add ru after it. So instead of kaku, just change to kake, and then add ru. So here's the chart. Kakiku ke ko. Kaku, if you look in the column, it's ke, so kake, and then you add ru. So let's take another example. Sagasu is a verb that means to look for. So sashi su se so. Su and se are in the same column. Hanasu, so you change su to se, and then you add ru. Hanaseru, which is you can speak. You could also just think, change su and change the u to an e. You could just think like that too. But you'll see with the other examples it's a little more difficult. So in the next column we have the tachi, tsu, te, and to. So let's say you have matsu, which is to wait for, to wait. Matsu. Well, for tsu, you have to use te for potential form because it's te, and it's tachi, tsu, te, to, and tsu and te are in the same column. For nu, like in shinu, which is to die, you change the nu to ne, so shine, and then you add ru. Shineru. Last one is, not last one. Last one down here. Bu. So if you have asobu, you change bu into be. Asoberu. Asoberu. Up here we have the ma, mi, mu, me, mo. So let's say nomu. Nomu ends in mu. So we're gonna change, I know it looks like a su, but it's a mu. Change mu to me, so nomeru. And finally, if the u verb ends in ru, as in noru, to ride, rariru re ro. So we're gonna change it to re. So it's noreru, can ride. What time am I at? Okay. And finally, the irregular verbs, ru verbs. Ru verbs, with those, it's easier because they all end in ru. They all end in the hiragana ru. So taberu, taberu, okiru, ru, neru, neru. They all end in ru. So you just take off the ru and you add rareru, rareru. So taberu would be taberareru. So I wrote it out for you. Here's tabe. See, it used to be taberu. That's the plain form. Taberu, to eat. But we're getting rid of this ru, and we're adding all of this. Rareru. I think there's a shorter way to say it, but yeah, this is the standard, I guess. I'm going to stop here because I'm almost out of time, but I'll continue with a part 2, and we'll go over irregular verbs, and we'll talk about the ga particle, and we'll do some practice. So, bye bye. please watch part 2.